Hello and welcome to day 41. Today we're going to be reading the last chapter of the book of Acts, Acts chapter 28. Paul has arrived in Rome. The chapter begins with him still on the island of Malta. He's getting ready for the last little leg of his trip to Rome, and it's raining and the storm and the ship is wrecked, and so they light a fire, and Paul's helping him with the fire, and he reaches down and he gets bitten by a snake. And I'm smiling because I remember the first time that I read this story, I said out loud, I actually said out loud, "You have got to be kidding me. How in the world is it possible that this man can endure so much?" And then the snake, of all the people that are there, the snake bites him. But Paul's response is the most awesome response to the trials of life. He reaches down in the fire and the snake bites him, and rather than go, "You got to be kidding me, I'm on my way to do what God wants me to do, the ship get wrecked, now I get bit by a snake," the text makes it's just so poignant for those of us who experience the trials when we believe we're doing what God wants us to do. The snake bites him, and all the text says is, "And Paul shook it off." And that's the way that we need to go at the trials that God gives us, is we just shake it off, and on we go. And so he goes to Rome, and he's going to have a trial, but it doesn't seem to happen, and so he's in prison, and he's under house arrest, and the text tells us that he's there for more than 2 years. And Paul, being the man, the God that he is, you can't shut him up about Jesus. And so he starts to talk about Jesus, and people gather, and the next day more people gather, and more people gather. He rents a house, fills the house with people, continues to teach them through the scriptures of the Old Testament how Jesus is the Messiah. And before you know it, and we're going to learn from his letters, the palace guard gets converted, and Paul has a Bible study right there on the emperor's doorstep, which is exactly what Paul desired. And so God fulfills his purpose in Paul here in the 28th chapter of the book of Acts.